Welcome to GameSack. I figured I'd make this short bonus episode because I wanted to review the 2D run-and-gun game called Iron Meat for modern platforms because I think it's cool. Now this is from Retroware, who some of you may know used to do business under the name Screenwave Media. And full disclosure, GameSack was partnered with Screenwave for quite a long time, but I haven't been for a while because the YouTube landscape has changed and there's just really no need for an MCN anymore. However, they still do sell the GameSack Blu-rays and t-shirts on their Retroware website. And yes, they did give me a free code for this game, but the views here are my own and they have not seen this video before it was uploaded. With all that said, let's get into the game. This is Iron Meat from Retroware. It's on Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series whatever, Steam, and other PC game stores. This is the Switch version here. It'll be physical for at least the Switch and the PlayStation 5. I'm not entirely sure what the story in the game is. I never pay much attention to that in action games, but it seems some scientist was working on something on the moon and then things went awry. Now he's possessed by aliens or monsters, I guess. They're known as the Meat, and they sure do look delicious. Then a ton of them are warped down to Earth. The military sends everyone out to fight this menace, and you are but one of the many soldiers. And so begins your mission to save the entire world. You can choose between easy, normal, and hard modes. All of the footage in this review is me playing on normal. Also, I'm going to do my best not to show much of the upper levels at all, even though Retroware's own videos already have. Seriously, they showed the final boss. This one supports 1 or 2 players simultaneously, just like you'd expect, so you can play with a friend. I'm playing single player here since, well, yeah. This is an excellent run and gun, and the controls are nearly perfect for such a game. You can shoot in 8 directions, and you move as you shoot. If you press either of the Z or Z shoulder buttons, it holds you in place as you fire and you can change directions while locked in place. You can switch weapons with the regular LNR shoulder buttons. There are a few different weapons to collect and none are what I would consider bad, though there are certainly 1 or 2 that are a bit less desirable because they're slower, but they're also way more powerful. There's this one, which is the game's take on the Contra spread shot. You can also collect this barrier shot thingy, which sends out bullets in 12 different directions for a little while. This is helpful, but you won't see it as often as you might like to. All weapons can be powered up a bit by collecting the same weapon icon again in the same slot. This will change the weapon color from blue to green. Remember back a month or 2 ago when I said that in most games the green weapons are always the weakest? Well, not in this one. Speaking of weapon slots, you can indeed carry 2 weapons at the same time, just like Contra 3. The only thing you can't do is press and hold down both shoulder buttons at the same time to strike a pose and do some funky jump shots with both weapons like you can in that game. I guess maybe they thought that might be a little too derivative. There's lots of blood and guts and it's super violent, but it's mostly aliens and or monsters or meat that are getting brutalized here. There are 9 stages in the game, and when you start, you can select any level you've made it to so far. You start each stage with 16 lives. Trust me, you're gonna need them. On the hard mode, you only get 8 lives, and on easy, you get 30. Wow, that is a lot. So please don't start out on easy mode. Only switch to it after you've tried normal mode a few times and you think that is still way too tough for you. It's really easy to die the first couple of times you play a stage, but the game telegraphs the attacks really well, so you'll eventually learn what to look for and avoid. Don't lose hope, you will be able to get past these traps. I really like the level design and the enemy placements in this one. Speaking of the enemies, if you stand still for more than a second or so, they'll start coming in from the left side of the screen running at you. The boss fights in particular can be pretty tricky until, of course, you figure them out, and that's definitely part of the fun here. They'll make you want to arrive for the fight with as many spare lives as possible. But if you're good, you can do these boss fights without losing any lives. These bosses are sometimes pretty epic, and they're always fun. Even if you beat the boss with no lives remaining, you'll find yourself with 16 lives just a few seconds later as you begin the next level. You can also earn a 1-up or 2 during many of the levels as well. The game is hard, but it has yet to annoy me. I often laugh when I die because I did something so incredibly stupid. And other times I'm just surprised that I didn't see it coming. I kinda jerk my controller right as it happens, like that's gonna do anything. Does anyone else ever do that? The screen does get chaotic sometimes, and it can be overwhelming. That might annoy some people. But games like this thrive on chaos, especially when they're as frenetic as this game is. As you play, you can unlock stuff, but this seems to be limited to different skins. You can use these to customize your character with different heads, torsos, arms, and legs. Kind of neat, I guess, but this isn't something that I'm personally into. Okay, we checked out the gameplay stuff. Let's take a closer look at the presentation. The graphics are 2D pixel art, as you can obviously see, and the level of detail is awesome. It has plenty of parallax layers in every level, especially the ones that take place outside. If you dare to take your eyeballs off of the action, you'll see lots of cool little things happening in the background, such as giant balls of something burning up as they head down from above. I love that attention to detail. Sometimes the screen will zoom out to give you a wider view of the action using the exciting Mode 7 abilities of the Nintendo Switch. Oh, it's not Mode 7? It's all done in software here? It just happens without a special hardware function? Huh, how am I supposed to lord it over stupid Genesis gamers? Anyway, this doesn't interfere with the gameplay like I thought it would. You know, like in a stall on the Saturn when it zooms out, it feels slow and looks all shimmery. This game is definitely not at its best when it does this. But here in Iron Meat, the game doesn't feel much slower at all, if any. Now, there is some shimmering here and there in the scrolling that you might notice if you're playing on a larger display, but it's not bad and certainly not bothersome. The game also features some rotation of things here and there. And it does it right. It doesn't just take a pixelized bitmap and rotate that, but it rotates it within the confines of the game's resolution, if that makes sense. This makes it look more like a real arcade game or something, and it's another nice touch that makes me appreciate the developer's attention to detail. The bosses should also be mentioned. Now, not all of them are massive screen-filling behemoths, but some of them are, and I love the way they're drawn and animated. Others are like, okay, whatever, but they're still fun. Of course, the game runs at a solid 60 frames per second, just like every run-and-gun game should. I'm looking at you, Contra Operation Galuga, running on anything but the latest hardware. It even uses Unity, and it doesn't fall into the common trappings of the scrolling camera only updating at 50 frames per second. Even big-name titles like ActRaiser Renaissance couldn't get this right. I haven't noticed any instances of slowdown. There's a retro CRT filter that you can apply. It looks pretty damn good, though perhaps a bit dim. It could be what they were going for though, since the edges are all vignetted. Still though, I just prefer my CRTs to be brighter and, well, in better shape than this. The music here by Darkman007 absolutely rocks. It's hard and heavy and really helps you get into the action. As many of you know, I am heavily into game music, almost to a stupid degree, as I feel it's essential to help set the game's mood. Seriously, a couple of the tracks here are some of the best musics we've gotten in a long time. And yes, I know the plural of music is music, but I said musics anyway. It goes so well with the game and it makes you want to keep pressing forward. It's like it's saying, hey man, I got your back, let's crush this! There's also a retro music option here. It's basically chiptune-ish versions of the same tunes. It sounds great, and it's fun to hear the different renditions of each track, but at the end of the day, I prefer the regular music. There's certainly nothing wrong with the sound effects here either. The panning is well placed and indicative of what's going on each side of the screen. The game only offers stereo, so no 5.1 surround here. And yes, you can do a 5.1 mix for a 2D game. I don't want to hear any arguments otherwise. Check out the Ori games, for example. Anyway, this certainly isn't a deal breaker, and most people probably won't care. So is there anything that bothers me about this one? Well, I feel that the game might be a bit too short. I mean, the balance is very well done, and it took me a while to memorize the final boss, but I was still left wanting more. I feel if it had at least an extra level and maybe some secrets, it would have been perfect. Hell, maybe there are secrets. If there are, I don't know about them. You can still go through and earn the points to unlock the skins if that's your thing, as there's no way you'll unlock them all in just a few playthroughs. One potential turnoff for probably a very small amount of people would be the excessive violence. They may not want their young kids seeing this. But again, keep in mind that it's mostly the monsters that this happens to. though you can get chopped in half and experience a few other brutal deaths. I honestly don't think the violence here is going to scar any kids. It's not exactly realistic, and it's not trying to be. I really hope we get another game in this series, but in the meantime, I'll be playing this one over and over and over. For real, if you like Contra-style running guns, I really can't recommend this game enough. And there you go, Iron Meat. So while yes, I did get a free code for it, I am definitely picking up a physical copy, though I haven't figured out which version yet. They should all be identical, so I don't think it matters. But still, I want to have it, you know? And from where I sit, I think it's the indie developers who keep the gaming scene alive, or at least interesting. So what do you think of Iron Meat? Let me know. In the meantime, thank you for watching GameSack. Hi, so I do mods and console repairs now, and I'm doing video game mods and repairs now. So if your video game system if it's broken or maybe it needs repair, I can fix it. I've got a soldering iron, and I can do install services. Would you like to see some of my work? It's I did these. I did both of these. Here. I'm not quite sure what these are. But, oh, look, we have a customer who needs his console fixed, so let's go fix that, okay? Can't forget my safety glasses. Or my soldering iron. Gonna need that. It's a real good one. See? It's good, it's electric. Go. Alright, I fixed it. It works now. Yay. Oh, and he gave me $5. So contact me if you need your stuff fixed. I'm a console modder installer. Okay.